Hey guys, welcome back to Noob the Player on Noob the Tactics, and here we have a Lines of Battle clash that I'm going to be going turn by turn narrating. So let's get right into it. Alrighty guys, here we have a clash I played approximately 2-3 days ago. It was a bullet round, so it was going rather fast. And I believe, is this hills? I don't know. I'll put up the image. What is this? So this is round 3, and my main strategy here was try to use this road. I guess I wasn't really using it too well, to really get from and to objectives. And I have, as you can see here, I have a light infantry and skirms, and I was trying to prop up here and continue the fight, and then almost prop up, connecting this star, and that would give me 4, and then you would have, yeah, you would have 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be even, and then to shoot it out, I guess, over here. So let's see what I did. Now it's important to use. I mean, people use skirms in many different ways. People like to embed them in the woods and towns because they're harder to dislodge from that area. People like it as a rear guard. People like it to go in front of their infantry and batteries in order to be able to reach out and touch the enemy in a better way. In as they have slightly more range than other troops. Let's see. So I kind of feel out. I capture this point, which I really wanted, because there's a one thing of town and then a bunch of wooded cover, and I'm like, wow, one light infantry can hold out there for a while. Let's see. So he kind of lays out his troops. It makes sense that he's got this hills cover. He's got this whole wooded line where he can set up his line, and he's got a battery. He's amassed all his cannons into a grand battery, very Napoleonic. And he's got his skirms lacking behind though. I think what happened was, yeah, he forgot to move his skirms, which honestly, in my opinion, gave me the better positioning, or not the better position, but the positioning I wanted, as it went unchallenged. He just forgot it for over a turn or two, which let me set up here. Let me set up kind of over there, and as you can see, I kind of have this hill area. I have reserves, and I'm gonna try to charge this line of skirms, because it seems like they're wide open. And on my right flank, I am pretty in a pretty good defensible position. Obviously, I don't want my this area to get turned by this infantry, by this line, but this is a pretty solid position, especially considering the cover and what I'm currently going up against. So we'll see how that develops. So here's a charge. Bit of a failure. Now, I didn't lose a unit per se, but I did lose my organization on my goons. And it did hit the skirm for like half. So that's not really the best. And then I had a skirm, so get outright knocked out of the fight. So this was what I would think is a pretty even exchange. I slightly lost on that. And let's see, my flank's going to get overturned. Let's see what I do. Over here, not much. Skirm's fighting in the woods against a column. Here I kind of advance. My cannons do take a lot of fire, but we'll see what happens. So on my right flank, I commit a guard in a line, and I form up what I think is a pretty decent line, honestly. If I was to mop up these two line infantry, I could redeploy and probably take on a lot from that end. That's a strong position right there. Let's see. I also set up my cav in the middle. I'm about to lose an artillery piece, and I'm kind of not doing much with the center. I think I'm trying to get some angles on here with this artillery. And here, right now, I have a skirm that's loosing the melee fight, and I have two enemy columns pushing me. So I have committed a guard early on, which realistically I could have committed one of these guys, one of these line, but I think due to them not being in column, it would have not been as successful and as fast as this deployment had. Probably could have turned this guy away. Let's see. So in here I take a cavalry charge. Oh fuck. Whatever. Okay, we'll edit this out. Let's see, where are we here? So in here I do take a I see my cannon does get knocked out, and I take a cavalry charge over here. One skirm, two skirms, and I still live with my units. Let's see how's it looking. So this time I'm slightly leading in the KD ratio. I've lost a skirm from what I can tell over here. And then on here I have lost my light infantry. But I still have a line, and I still have my guard. And as you can see, I'm moving my cuirassiers over there. And this middle fight, it's kind of hard because they're really well into these woods. And the best way, in my opinion, to dislodge them is artillery support and try to feel them out with skirms. And also, they're just a big blob, so artillery is more efficient. It'll hit more. It'll spread out the damage. Now, I'm trying to knock these columns out as they are weak to artillery and cavalry. So I'm really trying to knock them out with these two 6-pounders. And I'm hoping I don't get turned here, because that would really suck. So I want the skirm to buy me time, and I want to turn my attention downward towards the column. And here on this field, it's kind of fine. Honestly, I probably could have moved down, try to force an engagement, or even send one unit down here and force them out of the woods. But that is a little too costly for now. Let's see what happens. So, as you can see on here, instead of turning my guard, well, I'll turn them into a square so they can fight from multiple angles. And I do commit the cores, the cuirassiers, my heavy cavalry, and my line. Now my line's hitting them from the flank, and it's advancing, so that's a good position. And then I see that this unit is weak, and I hammer them with the artillery, and they are destroyed. Now this is a pretty good charge. I didn't really lose much on my cav, and I do have a little bit of an open field to see what I can play with. And in the middle, I start focusing on enveloping this wooded area, this wooded force. And on here, on the left flank, I'm just holding. I still have some cav, and I still have one guard that I have yet to commit. That's in the reserves, and these have... This one's out of ammo, but this one has a lot. So we are still very well in the fight. Right now, let's see how we're doing. We're still leading in the KD ratio, and because of the kills, we actually are winning via points from the fighting. Now, one issue that I would say that my enemy had is they had a ton of troops just sitting here, and they never put any pressure. Pressure from this line, these three units could have made me thin out my line while they attack here, and it could have made it so these entrenched units just take free shots without really getting damaged. And that is a big downside, or a big the downfall really of my opponent. Okay, let's see. My curs are still following this column, which I think it is smart. I probably should retreat by now. And I have gotten my light infantry back. And now it's 1, 2, 3. You have 3 line against 3 line with a skirm on one side and artillery support. So it is looking pretty good. However, there is always this threat of overturning my flank. So let's see how I handle this middle gap. I believe I pull some line over to the middle. But we'll see. This guy still has yet to move these troops in the tree line or these cannons. Okay, I turn away skirm, and I think on my screen this is still a column. So right now that's not a good commit. I can't, horses don't beat donuts. That's a good way of thinking about it. And this is not a good scenario. So I'm gonna retreat my horses. And I'm probably gonna retreat my horses and then try to hammer them with artillery and try to cover up this middle. But again, these troops, they're almost dislodged. I can redeploy my line, and these guys haven't even engaged, and they're fresh. They haven't even done anything. That's what I mean. Keeping your troops close is could lead to an envelopment by the enemy troops or mass artillery fire. However, it does mean that all your troops get to see action. So maximizing all the troops that engage in a fight is often good. So sometimes if I'm losing a fight and it's pretty even, I try to look for what troops are not being used or not being put to work. And that is really the difference between wasted troops and not wasted troops. So I do get that donut, and I do come out with my cav. And this is now I have another refreshed or re-returned troop, and this is a lost cause right here. The middle is a lost cause because now they want to commit, but I have a fresh guard right here ready to pummel them. This line just needs to turn. These guys, these two, this whole skirm artillery line mess can just push forward, and these guys can take care of these charging columns. So this guy is essentially destroyed. And let's even check. 27 to 16, It is, this guy's really just toast from here. Let's see what happens. They do charge. They charge against straight up a line, which isn't going to work. This area is being taken care of well. So my main threat is this middle containment. And they do break my unit, but it costs. So they wasted 2 fresh line infantry to take out one of my line with a charge, and I'm gonna kill them with my guard. So that is a waste. They just committed what would be, I guess, the reserve or almost a quarter of their army, a little less than a quarter, but fresh to fight when they could have reinforced the middle. They could have moved around. They still have time. Okay, so these guys could have still committed, backed up the middle. They did not do that. These guys could have backed up the middle instead of just taking artillery fire. Let's see where we're at. So we are roughly here. These guys, I was lucky. They could have probably hit my artillery, but some good canister shot really hurts him there. And that is going to be the fight. How it's looking. They did nothing on my left when they could have. And my middle was really wide open, but they got grinded down over the time. And who am I playing against? I'll check in a second. And I just gave chase. I knew it was kind of over. Points wise, I'm at 200. The moment I get to 3, the game is over. Right, the moment they victory points goes to 0, it's over. And I was even moving this guy here to cover all around. So these guys could have crushed this resistance. These guys could have enveloped. These guys could have pushed out, and then eventually all met this mass artillery. So that is honestly all. Yeah, that is the match. And I want to know who I was going against. Starlin Javier. I don't know what his name is. Sterling Javier Ortiz Silvestre. Okay, this guy's definitely his real name. But it was a good match, honestly, pretty fun. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I have a few more projects under my belt that I'm currently working on, and I will be playing different games coming up. And I also do have some lines of battle footage that I just haven't edited down, but I will try to play the game a lot more. So I would also like to say thank you to those who watched my last video and commented on it. Your comments and concerns are greatly appreciated, and I hope all of you have a great 4th of July.